According to the International Council of Museums, a museum is a not-for-profit, permanent institution in the service of society that researches, collects, conserves, interprets, and exhibits tangible and intangible heritage. Their overall purpose? To preserve and to interpret with substantiated evidence, to share otherwise restricted tangible pieces of history with the general public. Concerns about museums mainly surround the acquisition of their materials and their sources of their funding. While most may not be imperial in their efforts, their beginnings are thought to be unscrupulous. Historically, in Europe and the modern Americas, many museums are furnished with items that were grave robbed, taken during wartime, looted after a forced retreat, claimed through colonialism, and or private trading between rich clientele. For example, the Metropolitan Museum of Art was said to have some 11,000 plus works from ancient kingdoms in Benin. These pieces were stated to have been mainly acquired from private collectors of international art and gifted or loaned to the museum to celebrate them on a world stage. However, articles by the New York Times in 2021 state that some of these privately owned pieces had entered the international market at an unknown date and under unclear circumstances, leaving more than one question about the honesty of the transactions. According to an entire article series in the Boston Globe from 1997 to 1998, it was found that the Boston Museum of Fine Arts held Mayan, Italian, and Malian pieces that were illegally acquired and exported from their respective countries. In 1972, a Nigerian archaeologist, Ekpo Iyo, bought back several stolen objects himself through an auction for over 3 million euros in today's money. The importance? So that the indigenous descendants of these nations can learn, observe, celebrate, and study these artifacts on their own soil, in their own public museums, for nations to be able to have access to their own cultural history without having to book a flight to a foreign country or get visas that are already restrictive and expensive to obtain. Accessibility to materials in museums is also a large topic of dissertation when it comes to criticizing museums. But as with many things, the origins do not always dictate the results, and museums have evolved into a utilitarian and social space for everyone. Many articles online are about the right footwear, giving yourself time constraints, pre-reading for context, and they're all helpful. But when it comes to the actual exhibits, how is one supposed to read a museum? Our advice is to go in without time constraints. Think of the museum as a place you can revisit and don't rush through it. Take an initial stroll through the museum to browse the various topics. Stop at the ones that intrigue you the most. Once there, don't be afraid to take out a notebook and sketch or jot down points of interest. First, glance at the artifact. Read its corresponding label. Listen to the corresponding audio. Return to the artifact and take in what you just heard and or read. Move curiously through the exhibits. See if you can draw parallels in the exhibit to create a full world-building picture by locating items from similar time frames and or geographical locations across museums. This is where notes come in handy, to keep track of your visits and the timelines you encounter them in through clothes and plant life to pottery and books. Another tip on how to become museum literate is understanding the layout itself. Most museums like to set up exhibitions through time in a linear order. However, if the exhibit is surrounding a certain topic, it might be at the front of the museum trail and then followed by time-relevant and topic-complementary exhibits. Pay attention to section titles as well. The museum will often put a plaque or standing panel that showcases the name of the exhibition, a short subtitle, a story, context, or outline of the upcoming section. Taking a brief moment to read these helps build expectation and understanding for what context the exhibit is a part of. These introductory messages serve as a backstory or forewarning of sorts. It is so that you can better prepare yourself and open your mind to what you are about to see. These panels are sometimes spread out as the theme or time period changes within a larger exhibit. So remember to take your time and use a moment to read and appreciate them. As for the artifacts themselves, there's usually always small plaques, sometimes in front of the artifact, on a standalone podium of sorts, or even set back on the wall next to the artifact. Make sure you take a glance around so you don't miss it or align it with the wrong artifact. These often date, title, and place the artifact. Another tip is to have your device, if allowed, and Google other articles or essays on said topics. Don't be afraid to take in the museum's curated opinion alongside external ones. Getting multiple points of view on certain pieces can help you understand the subject further. So why are museums important? Beyond its educational and informational usage, it has cultural importance and societal significance as well. Culturally, museums are the backbone of preservation. They give access to society to experience firsthand the beauty of curation, and they often provide the upliftment that comes with acquiring and increasing knowledge on topics of interest. Museums provide options for recreation, garner tourism for their surrounding area. They even instill a sense of pride for the municipalities that host them, and sometimes the people that can identify with the exhibits within them. So next time you're visiting a new place, even if it's a domestic one, take a moment and check out their local museum. Appreciate the history and engage in the culture. Thanks for watching. See you next time.